I'm Joseph, and we are in our final part of the series for the win, where we're looking at the different wisdom passages from the book of Proverbs that help show us how to win in life. Now think for a moment about your least favorite class in school. Maybe it's math, or English, or gym class. Whatever it is, have you ever noticed that the classes we like the least always seem to take the longest? It's maddening. You know the class is the same length as all the other ones, but for whatever reason, that bell just seems infinitely farther away. In other words, the faster you want to get out of that class, the longer it takes the bell to ring. And a ringing bell is the goal. That bell represents freedom. Freedom from being in a class and freedom from being in a situation you no longer want to be in. It represents freedom from waiting. And the worse the class is, the sweeter that bell sounds. None of us enjoy waiting, but all of us have to wait. And at your age, you probably feel like you have to wait on everything. As soon as you get out of one class, you have to wait on another class to be over. Then you wait in the lunch line, for the bus, for practice to be over, for your mom to pick you up, for your mom to make dinner, for the weekend to arrive, and on and on and on. Patience is something we all lack. And interestingly, one of the first things we're taught as kids. My parents told me over and over again, just wait, just calm down. You'll get it in a minute. Patience is a virtue. You can have it later. Wait with a happy heart. Most of us in the room probably had a similar experience. But even though we were all taught patience, none of us really practice it well. Most of us know we should be patient, but hardly any of us do a very good job at it. And yes, though patience is hard when you're waiting on the bell or your lunch, it's even more difficult when you have to be patient with a difficult person, especially if that difficult person is in your family. So, when I was a kid, I used to always collect G.I. Joes, as many of them as I possibly could. And so sure enough, here I was getting around the holiday time, and I had started to look at what toy I wanted to have this year. And so I've been looking at this G.I. Joe battle wagon, right? I mean, it was the brand new wagon that shot missiles out and everything, but it cost $40. Now, I cut it out of the magazine, gave it to my mom, gave her all the rest of the gifts I wanted, but put this one at the very, very top. She looked at it with the number beside it and she said, $40, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that. But I told her, Mom, I need this battle wagon. I need it now, like I need it today. I can wait till Christmas, but I don't know if I can wait. I mean, I'm ready for that battle wagon as soon as possible. Sure enough, when Christmas came, I'm looking under the tree and I'm just not seeing the box the size that it would need to be. Am I gonna get this battle wagon or not? Did she hear me? I mean, come on, Mom, this is not a game. There's just something about our family that seems to take what little patience we do have and squash it. When your sister spends 2 hours in the bathroom every morning and every night, patience is off the table. When your dad is consistently late to your stuff because he's working long hours at the office, patience just isn't an option. When you're waiting on an answer from your parents about whether you can go to that party or not, frustration is more likely a response than patience. Because the truth is that patience with your family is a very tall order. Impatience seems to come easiest towards those that we live with. Have you ever noticed that impatience usually leads to complaining? Sometimes it's out loud, but sometimes we complain in our hearts. It's actually our knee-jerk reaction with no effort at all. Something in our heart thinks, ugh, this again, them again. I can't believe they're late again. I can't believe they're fighting again. I can't believe she's still in the bathroom. I can't believe they just won't give me what I want. Why are they being so stupid? Sound familiar? Of course it does. It's a natural response, but it doesn't ever help the situation. In fact, complaining almost always makes the situation and relationship worse. I've never heard anyone say, impatience saved my relationship with my sister. Getting frustrated over and over again was the key to our family's success. But think for a moment how things would change with your family relationships if you could develop patience with them instead of complaining about them. I bet your relationships would change dramatically. And you may say that sounds as likely to happen as you going through middle school without getting a zit, but I promise you, it is possible. Developing patience is a key way to go for the win with your family. And to help us figure out how to make this a reality, we're going to look at a passage in Proverbs where Solomon talks to us about patience and see if we can gain some insight into how to become a person of patience. This passage is an excerpt from what wisdom Solomon passed down to his sons, because he knew that though he couldn't make a promise about how life might turn out, he could offer principles on how to do life well. A person's wisdom yields patience. It is to one's glory to overlook an offense. According to Solomon, it's a person's wisdom that leads to patience. In other words, the wiser you are as a person, the more patience you will have. This also means the opposite is true. The more unwise you are, the more impatient you will be. So if you want patience, you need to be a wise person. Wise people are patient people. Unwise people are impatient people. So, what is a wise person? Speaking in generalities, a wise person is someone who trusts that God knows best. A wise person is someone who believes that ultimately God is in control of any and every situation. A wise person can look at a frustrating situation and with humility think, God knows about this. God knows my sister is taking 2 hours too long in the bathroom right now. Maybe she needs that time. A wise person who knows God is in control can believe the best in their mom and dad when they're late and think, I bet they're really busy and stressed out today. In other words, a wise person can see beyond the immediate circumstances and see a bigger world, a world where God is in charge. And anytime we can learn to do that, well, you're on your way to finding more peace and less stress. Not only that, you'll find yourself able to stay more calm when before you would have been a mess. Wisdom gives you patience. Wise people are patient people. And then Solomon says, it is to one's glory to overlook an offense. That's a pretty big statement. Solomon says, it is to your glory when you can overlook something or someone who has hurt you, bothered you, annoyed you, or offended you. It is to your glory, meaning it makes you and your life bigger. It builds you up. It makes you a better version of yourself. It makes you wiser. It is an honor to be patient. So here I am, Christmas morning, all my gifts under the tree, looking for my battle wagon. I open every single gift, and sure enough, my mom was not lying. She didn't have enough money to buy the battle wagon, so I didn't get it. Now, I could have pitched a fit, but I knew that she might take all my gifts, so I decided to be quiet. I realized that if I wanted that battle wagon, I was gonna have to put the work in. I was gonna have to be patient, and over time, maybe, just maybe, I could afford the $40. Sure enough, in April, I walked in that toy store and bought it myself. I even appreciated it more because I knew that I did it. She didn't have to give it to me. I was patient, and I saw it through, and I got what I wanted. So, if it's to your glory, overlook an offense and respond in patience. What can you do today to become wise? Ask for wisdom. In the New Testament, a guy named James tells us God will give wisdom to anyone who asks. You don't have to learn the hard way. You can start accumulating it now by asking for it. Start believing that God will give you insight when your patience is running low and your nerves are shot. Begin praying that you will remember that God can be trusted, that God is in control, and He knows each and every situation that you're in. But don't stop there. Find some older adults or people who are farther along than you, who are wise and are great models of patience. Ask them for tips, for things that they've learned along the way to help them be more patient, and start putting those into practice. Think one step ahead. Will you think this is a big deal by the end of the day? Will you be embarrassed by your meltdown in homeroom? So often what we think is a big deal now just isn't the next day. In fact, it's usually not a big deal an hour from now. So the next time you feel impatience rising up, think one step ahead. Will this be a big deal 2 minutes from now, 2 hours from now, 2 days from now? Most of the time, not all the time, the answer is no. And when the answer is no, practicing patience is easier to do. No question, patience is difficult. What makes it even more challenging is that our culture doesn't celebrate it or see it as a high value. But it is absolutely necessary for people who want great relationships. God holds this value so high because He knows that when you learn to develop this skill, the impact, the good it does will overflow into every other area of your life, but especially where we all need it the most, our families. You will win in your families when you realize that wise people are patient people.